Right. Perfect. All right, so unless you need me,
Thank you,
I'll leave
Jeremy.
it to you. All right.
Continue to have a great afternoon or
All
evening.
right. Thank you. You too. All right. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. Yep. Bye.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's now 7 p.m. Hold on a second here. Hmm? Let me make sure. Oh, there's one right there. If you'd like. Didn't see my agenda.
It is usually good.
I just had it. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Again, it's 7:02 p.m. I want to welcome everyone to the Community Development and Budget Priorities meeting. My name is Dwayne Williams, and thanks for joining us. With me today, to my right is
Mayra Núñez.
and Stacy, and unfortunately won't be able to join us tonight, but we'll be able to move forward even without her absence. So bear with me just briefly as I've misplaced my agenda for this afternoon. But to review last meeting's minutes, I could tell you we had a wonderful presentation from the folks from City Planning that was very helpful and gave us a very educational presentation in terms of how the process works and a lot of definition in terms of how we defined even the budgetary criteria and how we classify those things. I'd be remiss, I'm not looking at the agenda. I'm going to forego the reading of the conduct statement, just the essence of time. And we'll go directly into the fiscal year 2027 executive budget registry. I thought that was very important because it's kind of good for us to gauge what was requested and what was satisfied or what wasn't. So I will give a high level budgetary review as to what was done. And I will begin with our first budget request through the Department of Education. We did request that a reconstruction or upgrade of a park or amenity at the Allerton Playground be done. That was a request that was supported by Naomi Campbell. Unfortunately, the agency did not support, and they claimed they could not accommodate this request. And the reason is they wanted for our community board to contact the agency directly, which would be the Board of Education, to see if we could arrange somehow that request. So unfortunately, that didn't go through. The second request, which was through the Department of Environmental Protection, was supported by Ryan Barthel. And he was looking to get, and I'll read it, of the capital budget request to DEP. He was looking to do, he said, our district, like many across the city, has seen rash of street racing, loud cars or motorcycles and other loud vehicles. Would like our many wide streets encourage fast driving and donuts in intersection. And, despite reporting that to 311, the ask was to add automated enforcement to preserve both the safety, quiet enjoyment of our neighborhood. Unfortunately, that agency felt that it could not be supported and they could not accommodate. And again, they wanted you to coordinate directly through the agency. Next was a request we had sent through the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. That was supported by Naomi Campbell. And the need, and it was stated that there's a need for mental health centers somewhere for youth to seek mental health care in the district. And unfortunately, the response was that further investigation is required for the agency to accommodate that request. The next request comes to us from, again, Naomi Pemberton, and was a request to reconstruct or upgrade a building in the park, which is the Allerton Playground bathrooms, which needed repairs, floor tiles, toilets, and repainting. Unfortunately, again, the agency did support the request, but they could not accommodate that request. All right, and the ask was that we forward that this request requires funding, and we need to advocate with our respective elected officials. Secondly, under the Department of Parks and Recreation, again, a request from Naomi Pemberton, again, restructure, upgrade a park or amenities. This was for the playground equipment at Eastchester Playground. And the response from the agency is that this request was already had already been funded, and that no further actions going to be taken from that department. Again, we had a request from the Department of Transportation. I think we had a total of 5 of them. The first one comes to us from, in fact, I believe the majority of the DOT requests came from Ryan. So the first one was to request for a park building or access improvement, and it read, the sidewalk connecting Southern Boulevard and Boston Road along Pelham Parkway for the road is heavily used but in poor shape and has steep roads crossing, far out of compliance with ADA, making it difficult for many people to use this path. It goes on a little bit more, but in the essence of time, the agency does support the position, but their position is as follows. The agency does not, no, I'm sorry, they do not support and cannot accommodate. And they requested that we contact the agency DOT directly and request for additional information to how to get it funded. The next one was a repair or to improve new streetlights. And the request reads, bus stop under the 2-train Pelham Parkway, stop on both sides of White Plains Road is very poorly lit, which leads to dangerous situations. People waiting for the bus could trip, fall into the roadway, and may not be seen by drivers. And the low lighting could put people at risk for assault robbery. Upgrading the lighting under the subway stop would alleviate these issues. The Department of Transportation responded by saying the agency does support the request, but is unable to accommodate. And the explanation is that they felt it was not a capital request and that it should be coordinated through the Bronx Commissioner's office. The next request is again for repair and improvement of streetlights, and it's supported by Bronx Park East Community Association, and it reads, current lighting at all street level, current lighting is all street level lighting, which does not effectively illuminate pedestrian areas adjacent to park facilities. Adding low pedestrian level lighting will enhance safety along the corridor. In the municipal parking lot at Bronxdale and Burroughs Park East, and allow residents to use areas just inside the park, such as the exercise area between Britton and Arnold Avenue in the fall and winter, when the dark comes before 5 p.m. The agency's response again is that they do support such an initiative, but they cannot accommodate. And they suggest that this be coordinated through the Bronx Commissioner's Office. You want to take a, no? Okay. The next two, also repair provision of streetlights, this time along Pelham Parkway. And it reads, lighting along Pelham Parkway lights both the roadway and the adjacent greenway, but uses the same light for each application. While they are not exactly highway Cobra lights, they are similar. As a result, the greenway gets very little light. Pedestrian level lighting would greatly enhance the usability of the greenway. Response from the agency, again, they support, and they cannot, they said they support, the agency support and can accommodate. Wow, that's a success. All right, and the explanation is also to continue to coordinate through the Bronx Commissioner's Office. So that's one, that's a victory for us. Next one is the upgrade, right? The upgrade or create new plazas. And the location is the Bronxdale Pedestrian Plaza. The exact address is 2016 Bronxdale Avenue. And it reads, the pedestrian plaza at Bronxdale and Anton Place in front of 2016 Bronxdale is in need of equitable access to the residents in the community. There are boulders placed in the middle of the plaza, but benches for residents' use is needed. Without the benches and or table, the plaza is just an empty space and not truly a plaza for pedestrians to enjoy. We're seeking funding from the DOT to upgrade the plaza so that families in our community may enjoy it. All right. The agency does support and can accommodate. That's another victory for us. I think we're halfway through, so bear with us. Yes, that's two positives. Here again is a request from Ryan. Let me make sure. No, I think we read those before.
Yeah, we're going to see.
Did I read this one? Wait. Oh, and this one we didn't. This is again a request, transportation infrastructure request. And it reads, Morris Park Avenue, the heart of the community, needs to have its protected bike lanes combined to one side to make two-way protected bike lane. The unprotected bike lane currently has a few problems. First and foremost, it is not a bike lane. It is a parking lane for cars to double park, and it goes on. The agency, fortunately for us, because this was supported by Gabriel Zinon and Ryan Barthel, the agency does support but cannot accommodate. All right, and their explanation is that cars parking in the bike lane is an enforcement issue at NYPD traffic enforcement. That's unfortunate. Followed closely by a request to